A young mother, full of life with dreams of a bright future, gunned down in cold blood. More than 5 years have passed, yet justice remains elusive. Who killed Dominique Marshall? Why? And most importantly, who out there knows the truth? Before we dive into the details of that tragic night, let's take a moment to remember who Dominique Marshall was. Known affectionately as Niquee by those closest to her, she was more than just another victim in a crime statistic. She was a loving mother, a daughter, a friend. She worked hard, she had dreams, and she was dedicated to giving her son the best life possible. She deserved so much more than what happened to her. Her father, Cornelius Marshall, remembers her as a blessing in his life, someone who shaped him in ways he never expected. Cornelius Marshall said, "She really changed my life a whole lot. She taught me how to be humble. She was very humble and obedient." We got a chance to sit down with her father for an interview. We asked Mr. Marshall, how was Dominique as a child?
Ooh. She was more quiet. Wouldn't say shy. She's very loving. She loved her family. She was outgoing. She loved her dad. She was crazy about her dad. And mostly she just loved her family. Yeah, and loved people in general. She loved her sisters. And she was just a loving person. Loving and sweet. She was. Sometimes I kind of make it feel like that I raised her to love too much after all that happened. But I only gave her what people gave me when I was little. So.
What were her hobbies? Did she play any sports?
She loved sports. She loved to play softball. She wanted to play volleyball. I think she did play volleyball, if I'm not mistaken, in school. And she loved playing softball. And that's pretty much. She loved outdoors. She always loved outdoors. Even when I was living in the country on our land, and if I'd be out there in the yard or whatever, she'd get on the tractor or the riding lawnmower, like if I'm trimming trees or whatever, she'd drive the tractor. Yeah, she loved outdoors. She did.
Can you share some of your fondest memories about Dominique?
That one made me cry then. Seeing her smile. Seeing her smile. It's just to see her smile whenever she see me. She try not to show it, but when we make eye contact, she can't help but just seeing her smile.
We know she had a son. Can you tell us about her as a mother?
Loving. She loved her son. She sure did. And he loved her too.
But on December 15th, 2019, everything changed. In an instant, her life was stolen, and her family was left with more questions than answers. It was supposed to be a celebration, a family get-together, a graduation party, held at a small brick home off US Highway 90 in the Elsanor community. The house had been rented through Airbnb, but what started as a night of fun quickly spiraled into a nightmare. Over 100 people were packed into that house. The crowd grew, alcohol flowed, and tensions escalated. Then chaos erupted, gunfire. More than 24 rounds were fired, and when it was over, 21-year-old Dominique Marshall shot, caught in the crossfire of a violent, senseless act. She never made it to the hospital. She was driven about a mile away on the Baldwin County Beach Express. But by the time help arrived, it was too late. A young son would now have to grow up without his mother. In the interview, we asked Mr. Marshall, what do you remember about the night Dominique was killed?
The night it happened? really, there's nothing I can remember about that because God shielded my mind where I didn't even have a thought in my mind. I tried. I even tried to get angry. But I was like, who could I be angry at? And when I did get there to the scene, I saw some familiar faces. I wanted to be angry. But I just couldn't. And then I know she wouldn't want me to provoke the anger either. So that's probably why I couldn't be angry. But my mind was numb. And I was like, it seemed like it wasn't true. And it was hard to believe.
When police arrived, they were met with chaos. Between 50 to 60 cars were speeding away from the scene, leaving behind a trashed house, a crime scene littered with evidence markers, and a handful of partygoers who stayed behind to speak with officers. Airbnb later released a statement condemning what took place, reinforcing their ban on unauthorized parties, and offering their support to law enforcement. The homeowners were horrified. The house was wrecked, reeked of marijuana, and had piles of empty beer cans left in the middle of the living room. This wasn't just a family gathering. It had turned into something else entirely. What's even more disturbing is the number of people who were there but haven't spoken up. Marshall said, a lot of people who were at the party or know someone who was there, they all know each other. With so many people at the party, you would think someone saw something. Yet, despite interviews with some partygoers, the investigation has yet to lead to any arrests. Why? Fear? Loyalty? Silence? Someone knows who pulled the trigger that night. Dominique's father has been patient, but that doesn't mean he's given up hope. Marshall said, "It's just a slow process, and there's a reason it's a slow process. But they are doing their job, and best believe justice will be served." Police believe there may be crucial evidence on cell phones, videos, Snapchats, or messages exchanged that night, but without cooperation, those digital clues remain hidden. Lieutenant Reed said, "All the shell casings in the world aren't going to resolve this. We need people to come forward, to be forthcoming, to be honest, and just tell us what happened. Once we get the facts, generally we can put things together, but when people scatter in the wind, in hiding, that makes it really tough. Bottom line, someone out there knows something." In the conversation we had with Mr. Marshall, we wanted to get clarification on reports. In the news reporting, it was stated it was a party for a graduation. We asked him, "Do you remember who she went with?"
That's not true. They was lying. I even end up meeting the lady that owned the house, and she shared a little information with me about the young lady that rent the house from them. And the lady told me that the young lady lied to her about renting the house. And it was also said too that I don't know who Dominique went with, but I didn't raise Dominique to I'm not trying to say we're better than anybody, but you know, I grew up around here and I know how people really are. And I wanted her to be different. But it was said, but won't nobody tell me who, but I have an idea. But somebody wanted her to come down there to catch her boyfriend with the girl that he with now that he had pregnant. They thought I wasn't gonna find out, but I found out that night. And she wasn't a party type. She didn't hang out. She didn't hang around certain people. And like I said, I'm not trying to say we better than anybody, but I raised her different because I know how the people are down in this area. Because I grew up here, and but I wish they would have never asked her to come down there because I always told them, if a man or a woman don't want you, let them go. You don't have to run behind nobody. Yeah, because you know that's why I always taught them, to learn things and be independent and depend on nobody but God and themselves. But I just wish that whoever it was, they know who they are. Would have never boosted her to go down there, and all this would have never happened. And it was also said too that that somebody was driving by shooting in the news report. That's not true. I just recently found out that wasn't true in January the 8th, if I'm not mistaken, from the chief of Robertsdale Police.
That was stated. The report said it was a planned attack. They knew someone in the house, and it was a drive-by shooting. Just to confirm, was that true?
Nah, that's not true. He said every shot that was fired was shot from the house, but nobody shooting toward the house. He said my daughter was shot from the house in the back. And it's being said that her son dad did. I had people to come tell me, but like I told them, I'm not getting in trouble. But they won't go down there and tell the investigators and stuff, the details that they know. They know. They won't even tell me. So much they would tell me, because I guess they think I'm going to retaliate. But like I tell them, if I was going to retaliate, I would have did it that night when I see my daughter's body now on that road. I got a lot to lose. I don't like it because it's, like I said, so much that they sharing with me. And like I told them, I have a question mark over my head. And I'm tired of living like this. And whatever they have, evidence or whatever, just go ahead on and charge whoever. Because no matter what, I love my daughter. She know I loved her. And I know she loved me. Yeah, I'm sad because she's gone too soon. But as a father, as her dad, I was there for her and I love her. Nothing can bring her back. And I have no regrets of the time that I had spent with her. I have no regrets. I just want to go on with my life and get this question mark off my head, because I don't like living like this. And like I asked them too, it's 3 stories. And I asked them which one is true. But they won't tell me nothing. They only tell me it's and bits and pieces. It's been 5 years now, and I'm just not finding out this year of January that that's not true about it wasn't a drive-by shooting. And I'm just now getting her phone back that they took out my car in November. Yes. So, no, I don't like how the investigation going on. Because it make me feel like they hiding something.
We feel the frustration. We do know they were giving little pieces of information out to the media, including the investigation team obtained different guns from people that were there. But they didn't say anything about confiscating phones. There were Snapchat videos of that night. Why haven't they tried to obtain people's phones?
That's what I was wondering too, because the lady that I met that owned that house, I don't know if she still owns it, that they rented the house from, she said the same thing. That's how she got all the information off social media and turned it into the investigator. I even doubled back that night or that morning because I noticed something wasn't right, and I know they was looking for something. Me and my cousin, one of my cousins, we doubled back and we caught my daughter's friend and his mom, which they friend to my daughter's son, dad and grandmother. They all friends, and they got a bag out the cover on the Highway 90 side of that property, and they intentionally put that bag over there. I haven't heard anything about what came about that, and I turned that in myself to the investigators. I had a video, but I had just recently got that cell phone I had, but I don't know did I save it properly or what. But I did have the picture that I took of them at that property.
Wow. To get a better understanding on the situation. The reason why she was there is because her friends tried to get her to catch her boyfriend cheating.
Yeah, they wanted her to see the young lady that he was involved with, that he had pregnant at the time. She was pregnant.
What do you want people to know about your daughter's case?
Well, my thing is, I know people know what happened to her. You know, and it's sad that they won't come forward and tell the truth. Last year, the little incident happened in Stockton at the Mayday. You had everybody and their grandmama trying to tell. But when it came to my daughter, they wanted me to be quiet. But it was all on social media, talking all this and all that. But you know what that showed me? They ain't nothing but a bunch of hypocrites. And that's why I want to raise my daughter different, because I know how some of these people are down here in Baldwin County, because I grew up here. And that's why I moved to Montgomery.
Would you like to make a plea to anyone to come forward to talk to investigators?
I tried that, and to the people that was coming to me, and they know who they are. They told me the whole details about my daughter's case, you know, and what happened to her, how it happened, everything. They know word from word. I tried to make a plea with them, and they still wouldn't come forward. The only thing I do now is just, you know, just keep praying and hoping that one day, you know, somebody will tell the truth. Because I know they're not sleeping good. Because every day it was a struggle with me until I had to go to therapy.
How has life changed since Dominique's passing?
But I can only speak for myself. With me, I look at people different now. Because I'm not trying to say Dominique was perfect, but she didn't bother nobody. She wasn't that type of person. And I'm not just saying that because she's my child, my daughter. I'm saying this based on the people that came to me after she was murdered. I had people that she went to school with. I had one person come to me and told me when they didn't have lunch money, she would buy them lunch. I had people that she worked with at Walmart. Some people my age or older say they would go to her with their personal problems. And I'm looking at like, Dominique was only 21 years old. But that showed me the maturity that she had developed. And I had one young lady that worked at Walmart. She was crying and carrying on and telling me that how important Dominique was to her, and that she had gave her some baby clothes and stuff, and that Dominique had helped her through her pregnancy. And I'm like, Dominique just had a child herself. But you know, it's very touching because that let me know that I was thinking that, you know, she was still growing up, but she had already matured at an early age. She did things that people I know my age or younger or older, even myself, she did things that I wouldn't have done. And that's why I say, you know, after her, she's being murdered, I look at people different now. Where I would just give a person the benefit of the doubt. I don't do that anymore.
We saw her roadside memorial that's located on the Baldwin County Beach Express. It's beautiful, by the way. What do you do to keep her memory alive? Do you have any plans in the future to memorialize her?
I always keep her grave site pretty because I'm always, like I said, I always used to seeing her smile, and and that's how I still remember her, and that's how I always want to remember her, of giving her the love that I instilled from people that I grew up around, and I'm always going to remember her that way and honor her that way. Nah, I did all that, and now I just really want to heal totally and get on with my life. And like I said, I have no regrets of Dominique being the time that she was here on this earth. I have no regrets, none whatsoever. And I can truly say that because I truly loved her and she truly loved me, and she know it and I know it. So I just want to get this question mark off my head, and she's at peace. I know she's at peace because she was always at peace when she was living, and I made sure of that. So there's nothing else I can do anymore. I did my part when she was here, and I just have no regret.
How can people keep her story alive?
Just tell the truth. If you know something, just go tell the truth. Just go down there and tell the details that they need, because eventually they know something, but they just don't have the details because it's a bunch of lies. It's a bunch of lies. It's a lot of people involved. I even found out too, some people that's involved. A lot of people involved in drugs and everything. And I didn't raise my daughter around people like that and be involved around in the environment of drugs. And that's what a lot of them hiding also too.
Do you believe people are scared to speak up because of their drug involvement?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's what they're trying to do. If I knew about it when I was staying in Montgomery, you think people around here don't know about it? And I moved back from Montgomery in 2018. And I knew about it when I was living in Montgomery, when I was working at the Hyundai plant. I knew about what's going on, even if her son spoke. I knew about what was going on when they called me and told me that my daughter was on. When they let me know that my daughter was pregnant. And I told them they should have been calling me when she was coming out of their house, because she'd never been back down now. They got my number to call me and tell me that she was pregnant.
Do you have a message to other families that have lost their family members to violence?
Yes. Gun violence, I can truly say that I wish that on no other parent. And for the ones that have lost a child to gun violence, my prayer goes out to you. Me personally, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. And the only thing I can say is just, if you're still grieving, go get help. Because it helped me. It really did. I thought that I was handling it at first until I got some news that was unexpected to hear. And it was like something died inside me. Because, like I said, when I doubled back and I caught the guy, my son, my daughter's son, dad, friend, getting the bag out the cover, it's being said that the gun that the investigators were looking for was in that bag. And I let him walk away because I was distracted. And it was like something died inside me. So if you're a parent and you lost a child, a loved one, or or anybody to gun violence, me personally, seek therapy, because it really helped me out a whole lot. And what I learned from therapy too, it's a lot of people need therapy. A lot of people. That's what I learned. So if you're going through any kind of family problem or whatever, seek therapy. It'll really do you some good. Really. Not only just gun violence or whatever, any kind of situation that you're going with. If you don't have anybody to talk to, a pastor or whatever, seek therapy. But find you a good therapist though. Make sure you find the right one. God bless me. He sent me to the right one down in Daphne. Sure did.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall, for taking the time out to sit with us today. Before we end this interview, is there anything else you would like to say?
I just want to say that to whomever out there, if you find it in your heart, do the right thing. Because I watched on social media, like I said last year, during the Stockton Mayday, I looked at all these people on social media talking about, they even had my daughter in the post. And I had to go in inbox these people and tell them, take my daughter off the post. Because she wasn't that type of person. She was not partying and having a good time. But if you find it in your heart, same way y'all did at Stockton Mayday, do the right thing about my daughter case. And get them people the detail that they need. Because me personally, if it was me, I'd do it. With no hesitation. I've done it before, in 1995, when I witnessed a killing. So find it in your heart, do the right thing. Because I'm not going to judge you. Jehovah going to judge you.
Right now, Dominique's family is pleading for answers. Her son will grow up never knowing his mother because of a reckless act of violence. But it doesn't have to end here.
I'm not going to be at peace with it until justice be served. I know I can't bring Dominique back, but it's just that I want justice for her because she didn't deserve that.
If you were at that party, if you saw something, if you have a video or message that could be a piece of the puzzle, don't stay silent. Dominique's life mattered, and her family deserves closure. Contact the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office with any information. Dominique's family shouldn't still be waiting for answers. Her son shouldn't have to grow up not knowing who took his mother's life. And those responsible, they shouldn't be walking free. So let's keep her story alive. Share this video, spread the word, someone knows something, and it's time to break the silence. If this story moved you, don't let it end here. Like, share, and subscribe to True Crime Sistas to help bring attention to unsolved cases like Dominique's. The more we share, the more pressure we put on the system to act. Together, we can be a voice for those who can no longer speak for themselves. Stay safe, stay aware, and remember, justice is never out of reach if we fight for it. Please leave a pink heart in the comments for Dominique.